Hi guys, it's Little Kansas Kitty and I welcome you back to my journey. I had the RNY gastric bypass surgery on June 25th, 2018. So this marks my 33-week post-op update. I started off my high weight at 238 pounds. I'm 5'6". I'm 38 years old, and last week I came to you and I weighed 145. I am right now in Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, I'm right outside of that, hanging out with one of my girlfriends, and she lives in Peoria. And I just completed the full Phoenix Mesa marathon yesterday, and that's why I'm wearing my finisher's medal, and I want to talk about that definitely on this video. Also, I don't have a scale, so I don't know what my weight is today. I can tell you that last week I was 145 and I had a lot of salt throughout the week, and that is something that is an okay thing to do. I probably snacked a little at the beginning of the week. I did. At one point, I made guac for the first time in my life. I had never made guac, and I sat there and I had the little pretzel crisps, which I hadn't really had pretzels much before, except I guess I did have that soft pretzel. And I sat there and I ate all of it, like early in the week. So my salt intake was up. I had a lot of nuts, and that's okay because I needed to try to maintain my weight for the week and not, I didn't want to thin out too much right before the race. I wanted to make sure that I had calories, I had carbs, and I had a lot of salt in my body. Also, I was experiencing leg cramps early in the week, and I thought I need to up my potassium, so I started having bananas every single day leading up to the race. So anyway, let's just kind of talk about, okay, so this video, I'm sorry, it's going to be all over the place because I am out of my normal surroundings and my normal environment, but I do have a few notes that I want to make sure that I try to stay on track and hopefully not make this too crazy of a long video, but I have a lot I want to tell you because it's just been such an awesome weekend in Phoenix. So also staying with my friends last night. I am flying back home out today, back to Kansas City, and my friend's husband told me that his mom swears by this for leg cramps, and I don't know, some of you may have heard of this, I think it's an old wives' tale, but tonic water. So in tonic water is quinine, and it is supposed to help with leg cramps. And so I did have a vodka tonic last night, and I also just I don't know if that helped any, but I'm going to try to get some diet tonic water and kind of keep that by my bedside and start taking that because my potassium levels aren't necessarily low, I don't think. I've always passed all my lab results and I take all my vitamins regularly, but I think with all of the excess running and just on my legs and on my muscles, that's what's causing the leg cramps right now. And so that's why I'm upping my potassium, and then I'm going to do this little miracle tonic water. That doesn't mean I'm going to have vodka tonics every night, but I am going to have I'm going to buy some diet tonic water and keep on my bedside and just take a little bit. Weight wise, I was 145 last week. I saw the scale go up to 147 this week. I don't know where I am right now because I don't have a scale, but just feeling body wise, I feel very slim and trim. I feel like I'm probably 145 or even lower than that. Especially after my race yesterday. And so next week I will give a checkup exactly on where my weight is hanging out the week after my marathon. And his fees for the week. So last week in terms of running, it was really, really cold in Kansas City. We even had a couple days where we didn't have school. School's closed due to all the ice. And my regular tapering schedule would have been Monday 8 miles, Tuesday 8 miles, Wednesday 8 miles, Thursday rest, Friday 2 miles, kind of warm up the muscles, and then Saturday marathon. I did Monday 8 miles, Tuesday 8 miles. By Wednesday the ice had already come in and I didn't run, and I felt kind of out of sync, but I was like, you know what, let me just rest these legs. And it's hard mentally to rest before a marathon because you just start to feel a little sluggish. So I reached out to Rachel from on my way down, and I said, girl, I need some stars. I need some stars Wednesday through Friday before my race, and I'm going to report back to you my foods. And she sent me my stars every day, and I did really good, and that really helped keep me on track. So thank you, Rachel. Thank you for being there for me. Also, on Friday, so this is Friday, I'm flying into Phoenix, and I had purchased my race outfit for my race day, and earlier in the week I tried it on and I had a medium tank top, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is really baggy. So I ended up returning the medium to get a small, and I am a double D. I'm you know, big up here, and so to return that and get a small, what? That's a huge NSV. I'm a small. So feeling really lean and small, and I got to wear a small tank top for my race day, so that was huge. Also, when I got onto the plane, I was kind of heading down the aisle, and I didn't do the check-in early enough, so I was kind of one of the late ones to board on Southwest, and I'm looking for a seat, you know, scanning, and I kept making my way back to the back, and there was this really cute couple from Kansas City, this married couple, really thin and slender, you know, just like looked really good. And it was funny, like nobody was, you know, really like wanting to offer a seat, and they get up and they're like, hey, you want to sit here? And I was like, yes, because it was right by the window, exactly where I wanted to be. And I just felt like they were really welcoming and offering a seat, and I felt like it was kind of like, okay, I am smaller, I'm not this, you know, bigger person that's going to take up a lot of room. And I went and sat in my seat, and I felt very comfortable. I felt like the three of us had plenty of room, plenty of our own little private room, and I actually had to adjust the seat belt and make it smaller to just, you know, fit to my body. So that was big. Also, I might get back to this one. Well, I'm just going to be jumping around. So marathon outfit, again, I had these Adidas like biker shorts. They were really slick, and during the marathon they were 7-inch on the seam, and I had stopped wearing running shorts years ago because of my thighs. I have my inner thighs rub so much, and I've learned from, you know, bad races that my thighs will just rub raw. And at my heavyweight, when I would wear dresses to work in the summertime, I would wear these bands around my legs or biker shorts underneath my dresses because my legs would just rub raw in the heat. And so I've been running in either, like, you know, biker shorts or capris, or, you know, something tight against my legs. And I bought these Adidas really slick shorts, and I noticed very early on in the marathon during the race that they started to rise. I was like, oh no, I didn't test out these shorts at all, and they started to rise up, and I almost felt like I had booty shorts on through most of the race. And you know what, you won't believe this, but my legs did not rub at all. My thighs did not rub at all through that entire marathon. Crazy. So that is probably an enormous NSV for me, meaning that my legs have thinned out enough, and even though I've got excess skin there, they didn't rub together, and major victory. Okay, let's just talk about the marathon. So I got in on Friday into Phoenix. I headed straight to, I took a lift, and I headed straight to the expo, and I think I took a quick video, so I'm going to drop that in real quick. Hey guys, I just got into Phoenix about an hour ago. I grabbed a quick little Caesar salad lunch at Starbucks at the airport. I grabbed a banana for some carbs, and I also grabbed another banana for tomorrow morning for some carbs. I feel like I have died and gone to heaven. It was -8 degrees in Kansas City this morning, and I get here and I have to take like all my layers off and put my tank top on. It is gorgeous. There's palm trees everywhere. And on the way out here, there were cactuses everywhere. It's so beautiful. It's so warm. I'm wearing my daughter's best friend necklace. She and I linked our hearts this morning together just for good luck, and I'm going to take this with me through the entire marathon tomorrow. I'm so excited to be here. So I got my race packet, and I then grabbed a Lyft to get to my hotel. Checked into my hotel the first day, and oh my gosh, the weather was glorious. It was so sunny out and the cacti everywhere. I mean, just beautiful.
So are you a professional runner, or you just...
No, just for fun.
That's nice.
Obsessed with Phoenix, and I actually called my parents as soon as I got there, and I was like, pack your bags, guys, because we are moving the entire family to Phoenix. This place is beautiful in February. The weather is just perfect. The sun was shining. That warmth on my skin felt so good. I splashed around in the pool a little bit just with my feet. Hung out and just soaked in the rays of the sun. It was just incredible. I love the style of homes here. I've always had a thing for that Spanish kind of, you know, shingle, just the rocks, the desert, just everything. I love it. I love it. I love it. Shut the front door. It is so beautiful here. The cactus, the sun, the warmth against my skin. I love this kind of weather. I just thrive off of it. Anyway, I arrived at my hotel. I'm getting ready to meet a friend in just a little bit for dinner. And so I am going to do a quick wake up my muscles, go on a short little run, 1 mile out, 1 mile back, and then I will be preparing for the marathon tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I ended up having dinner with one of my girlfriends that I haven't seen in over 10 years. That was amazing, amazing time to catch up. And then I got back to the hotel with plenty of time, had about an hour to lay out all of my clothes, get prepared, and then I got to bed by 8 to 8:30 and got a good night's rest. I mean, it was a little bit tossing and turning, just excited as the morning hours started to approach, but overall really good. So the morning of the race, I woke up at about 4 o'clock. I got ready. I had everything laid out. Good morning. I am getting ready to leave my hotel. I've got my marathon outfit on, ready to go. I have my bib, number, everything set out, and I am about to leave. I'm excited. The jitters have settled in, and I am getting ready to go find an Uber or Lyft to take me to marathon race start. Wish me luck. I went out to the lobby at about 4:36, and I went to contact, you know, to try to get a Lyft or an Uber, and I had a major oopsie. I saw that the Lyft and Uber were about 16 to 20 minutes away, and I probably had a 10 to 15 minute drive to get to the starting point where there were going to be buses loading us up and taking us up to the desert for our starting point for the marathon. And the last bus was leaving at 5:15 a.m. and I panicked. I was like, oh my gosh. I asked the lobby, I said, are there any other options? Do you guys have a shuttle? Anything? And they said no. And I said, did you see any other runners here at the hotel? And they said, oh yeah, they all left like 30-40 minutes ago. And I was like, oh my gosh. I just, you know, trying to calculate the math, the timing real quickly. I thought, I'm gonna miss my bus. I took a flight out here to run this marathon. I've been training for this marathon for 20 weeks. Prior to that, I did the half marathon, and I'm about to miss it. So I started panicking, and I see this couple come into the lobby, and one of them was definitely a runner. And I was like, are you guys going to the marathon? And they said, yes. I said, did you already get an Uber or a Lyft? And they said, actually, we drove. So I said, do you mind if I catch a ride with you guys? And I jumped in the back of their car, and they were so sweet, from San Diego, Asian kind of American gal and her husband, really sweet. And so we start going, and they go to Starbucks, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, why are we going to Starbucks? Like, we need to get to the race. And I was just trying to be calm because I'm in, you know, a stranger's car and everything. And she was so calm, so cool and collective. And we get there finally. Well, actually, while we're in the drive-through, I realized, I panic even more. I realized I don't have my Garmin. I do not have my watch. I had it plugged in at the hotel and I forgot my Garmin. And for a runner, like, that is, how do you run without your watch? Like, how do you run? How do you know your pace? And I was like, I have trained for so long, and I secretly had a goal that I wanted to run this race in under 5 hours. I did not want to see the 5-hour mark when I finished this race. And so I was like, you know, it's been 3 years since I've run a race. If I can run it in 4 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, that was my goal. And that was going to push me a little bit because I've been averaging around like an 11:30, 11:20 something for my my long runs. And so anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep on track? Like, how am I going to keep my pace? So I panicked and I told them, like, I left my watch in the hotel, and they said, I'm so sorry, but we're not going to have enough time to go get it. I was like, okay. So anyway, we get to the race where they're loading up these buses, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it's already past 5:15. The last bus was supposed to leave at 5:15. And my new friend, she was just like, you know what, they are not going to leave us. They're not going to leave all of us. It's going to be okay. So we get out, and I've got like a really puffy winter jacket on, which does not fit me anymore. So that was going to be my toss throwaway to donate. You can throw away clothing along the course, and volunteers will go and pick them up after the race and go donate them to charity. So I had my big puffy jacket on. It was pretty cold. It was like 40 degrees, which is still amazing. And so then we get in the bus, and we've got like a 30-40 minute ride up to the desert. And so they are driving us up in the mountains to the desert, and I get to know my new friend really well. She was from San Diego, and she was so sweet, and she had a major time goal of running a like 3:30 flat in 3 hours and 30 minutes. I was like, okay, she's fast. So we kind of talked about our goals, and I said, you know, for me, this is my first marathon back, and I had so many jitters and so much excitement, like it was just my first marathon again. And I said, for me, I just want to finish strong. I want to feel good, and I just want to have fun. I want to feel good about this. And so we get dropped off, and it's funny because they literally drop us off in the dark in the desert, and it was dark, and the lines to the porta potties were so long, and she had to go potty, and I was like, well, I should probably go too. You know, it's always good to get some of those, you know, to go. And so we just like, we walk off side by side, new besties, into the desert. Like, we lift up this like barbed wire that had been cut through, and we go off to these like cactus, and we crouch down and we pee side by side. And it was like, you know, you've made a good friend, and when you can pee next to a stranger. And so then we jump out, and we're like, we are behind schedule. All of a sudden there's fireworks going off in the desert, beautiful sparkling colors, and people were off. They were off running. It's like, oh my gosh, and she's going and I'm going, and we missed the national anthem. I didn't hear that. And all of a sudden I just start running, and I thought, you know what, I don't have my watch. This is a good time for me to just mentally get in my headspace and just run. I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna run this marathon, and I've worked, I've put in the miles, I've trained. I'm gonna do the best I can do and just have fun. So I start to go along, and after a little while I see the 4:50 pace group, 4 hour 50 minutes, and I was like, well, this is probably a good place for me to hang out if I want to do a 4:59. And so I'm running with them side by side, and I said, what's a 450? Like, what's that pace? And they said 11 minutes. And I was like, okay, that's good. And I'm running and I'm just feeling like I'm dragging. Like, I'm just like, I feel the need to move forward. And so I just start to leave them and I move forward and I'm going and I'm just feeling awesome. And mind you, this race, they start you up in the mountain. It is a 1,000 elevation drop through the entire race. 1,000 feet elevation. Best course ever. Best course ever. Beautiful. The sun is coming up. The cactus are everywhere. It's just, oh, it was gorgeous. So I'm thinking, you know what? This is an adventure. The best way to explore a city is to get out there and run. And it's, you're up there almost 5 hours running and you're going to explore the city, get into your head, exercise your brain, find your breathing, and stretch your comfort. That's what it was going to be about for me. At about mile 4, we had just a light little incline. Actually, it was an incline. That was the only hill from 4 to 5. And so that was doable. It was still nothing compared to Kansas City hills. The spectator support was amazing. So many people lined along the course, along different areas, especially when we hit neighborhoods, to just cheer you along and say, keep going, you look great, you're strong, and high fives along the course. I always go for high fives because I just feed off that energy, that positive energy. Lots of signs. People had really fun signs like run, Forrest, run, and but there's bacon at the end. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, I want some of that bacon. There was one neighborhood that just had orange trees lined along their backyard and along the sidewalks, and oh my gosh, it was beautiful to see all these orange trees everywhere. At one point, I was passing this nursing home and it was so cute. They had all of the residents out in their wheelchairs and their blankets, and they were all along the sidewalk just sitting there, just cheering us all along. It was so sweet. I was feeling really strong through the entire course. I remember at like 16 thinking, man, I feel great. And I started making phone calls. I called my son to check up on him, and he was like, Mom, why are you calling me? You're in the middle of a marathon. And I called my daughter. I actually talked to my ex-husband, and he's always been a real supporter of my running. And so it was actually really nice to get that cheer and support from him as well. I also talked to my parents, I talked to my brother, I talked to my friend Carol, the one that I've talked about many times before that's run 100 marathons, and I was just feeling great. I was like having phone calls, calling people. I also called one of my subscribers on here that lives in Mesa, and we couldn't really match our schedules to connect, but Joyfulness Metamorph, I wanted to make sure I got right. Joy. Hi, Joy. Thank you so much for all your encouragement and support. I don't know if you ended up leaving a sign at mile 19 for me. I looked, but I didn't see it, but I just really appreciate all of your support. I was feeding off a ton of positive energy, feeling really great. Usually at mile 19 is when I start to kind of feel like I'm hitting the wall. Did not hit a wall ever, and I kept increasing my pace. So I did end up running my second half. I had a negative split, meaning that my first 13.1 was slower than my second. I just kept going. I was like increasing, and I think I could have pushed myself even harder, but I felt so strong, so good. It was so much fun. And my friends from Kansas City, they actually are retired now, and they have an RV, and they just travel all over, and they were here running the Phoenix Half Marathon. Angie and Dennis's RV. Angie, where's Dennis? This is awesome. They travel the world in this, race after race. Sweet. As I'm winding around the turns, I hear this, Jessica, that's my real name, and I look over and I see Angie and Dennis, and they're just like taking photos of me and screaming and cheering me on. It gave me that extra little push. and I started to, and it was amazing because the second half of the first half of the race, I felt like everybody was passing me. Everybody was passing me. I'm like, all right, but I got to keep it steady, keep it steady. And the second half of the pace, I kept like passing everybody. It was just like this amazing feeling where my pace kept on increasing for the entire last second half. And I start to see the finish and I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna sprint because I always push hard in the end, and I start sprinting and I'm just giving it my all, and I can hear the people cheering from the side and they're just like, look at her go, and I'm passing everybody. I'm just sprinting hard. I hit that finish line and I tinkled. I let it out. I tinkled a little bit and I cried, and it was just like everything came over me, and I just felt so good, and I had such positive energy. And they hang the medal around my neck, and it's such an accomplishment when they hang that around you. And I just had a lot of, that pride in myself, and that like just thank you, that gratitude that I had the health, I had the legs, I had, that I could do this in this time in my life. So this was my 6th marathon. I'm so blessed and so grateful that I had this surgery and that I was able to lose the weight, that I could come back to running, because running is such a passion of mine. And I thank all of you so much, because the cheer, the support, the encouragement, oh my gosh, messages galore from all of you guys, so much encouragement. And I just really want to say thank you. Thank you so much, because you all lifted me up. I had such great energy, such great positive energy in this race. As I entered the finisher festival, they had lots of food everywhere. They had ice cream and massages, and they had French toast, and for me, I had checked a bag, and so I went to go pick up my checked bag, and I saw my friends Angie and Dennis. They were like, hey! And I said, I'm going to go get my bag. And so I went and got my bag, and I had a Premier Protein in there for me. So I just took that protein in to, heal my muscles after the race. And I hung out with my friends for a little bit from Kansas City. That was fun. And they actually gave me a ride back to my hotel in their RV. So that was great. I got to my hotel, took a nice hot shower, and just got ready to be picked up by my other friend that I hadn't seen in about 10 years that lives here in Peoria, that let me stay with her in her beautiful home. So anyway, I know this was longer than I anticipated, but thank you so much again for all your support. On the Raider, what I have now is I'm in recovery, and so I did go out and do a little quick 2-mile kind of, shake out my legs run this morning, and I plan to have probably a couple of rest days, and then I'm right back at it, because I have a marathon in 3 months in Vermont with my girlfriends, and so I'm going to keep my mileage up and train hard and go for my 7th marathon. Isn't this weight loss surgery journey like a marathon? Keep going, keep persevering. A marathon is a state of mind that says anything is possible.